Welcome to Building Buzz. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me here in the studio is Robin Pfalzgraf with Jacksonville Community Land Trust. Robin, how are you? I'd give you a hug if I could. Yeah. Virtual one.
Yes, nice to be here, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for coming on Building Buzz. So,
pleasure.
A lot of things going on in the city of Jacksonville. They say 500,000 to 800,000 people here in the next decade are going to move here. So, before we jump into that, Jacksonville Community Land Trust, what is it and how do you do what you guys do?
What it is, we're a nonprofit. Yeah. Affordable housing is our focus, and we do it a little different than everyone else. Yeah. I want to say we drive the price point down a little bit below everybody else, but we also retain ownership of the dirt, the land, the lot, and people that buy houses that we put on our lot, they own the house, like a condo or townhouse, no different. Yeah. But there is a requirement that they sell it to someone that needs it like they needed it. Oh, so our houses will never be owned by a developer. They'll never be owned by a property manager. Yeah. It will always be affordable housing. So some of the neighborhoods that are being gentrified, our houses would be the ones that are always affordable.
That's great.
So I'm proud of that.
In the demand here in the city of Jacksonville, what have you seen?
I cannot even sum up the stories I've heard from people that come in, just walk in the office. Yeah. It's so great. The need is so great. And that's why I was really pushy from day one about getting our price point down. Yeah. You know, you can build a lot for that middle level, but building for people that are, you know, the people at the coffee shop and the people that help us at the clerk's office in the courthouse, we want to build for them, and we want them to have the opportunity to be homeowners.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, you're kind of like I would say intermediary, but you're in between the city of Jacksonville, who owns that land, and then developers or people are going to build those domiciles, and you want to make sure that all parties are happy at the end, I'd imagine.
Yes, and the way we ended up, Mayor Curry's administration and the city council passed a legislation that was called the First Look legislation. Okay. What the First Look legislation did was said every piece of surplus property, it ends up owned by the city. Sometimes people abandon them. Sometimes they don't pay taxes. Sometimes they just surrender them back to the city. They just don't. If you inherited property from a relative and you said that's a liability and not a positive, they can give that to the city. The city doesn't want that, but, you know, or stop paying taxes and the city will own that. And so
that happens.
Yeah, some people just say, I'm not paying it. Some people just don't take care of it. You know, there's a lot of ways it can end up in ownership of the city. But then the property comes to me in an email. Like, it also goes to other city agencies. So if another agency in the city needed it, they get it. Okay. But in general, then I look at it and say, hey, that has potential to have permanent affordable housing on it. And so as developers come and say, hey, I want to build there, we say we have these properties available. What can you do? And so that's where we are.
So who should contact you and why should they contact CLT?
Two people. We need, three people. We want the homeowner that says, hey, I'm just not fitting anywhere else. I want to see if I can fit you. And our attitude is we never tell somebody no. Okay. So if somebody comes in and for some reason they wouldn't qualify, let's say they're not mortgage ready, we partner them with Wealth Watchers, and Wealth Watchers gets them mortgage ready if they're willing to do the work.
That's good.
And so it's never no. Yeah. It's we can get you there if you choose to be there. So that person, we want a developer. I would love it if every developer said a couple houses a year I want to do for the community and help your people, because we're building, you know, other houses for millionaires. We want to do this as our give back to the community.
It's huge, right? I mean, think about that. If you give a little, how much more business are you getting on the back end? I mean, you can 10x that, you know, investment, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I will tell you, the people that we put in homes are so grateful. I mean, it's not why you do it, but it's such a builder, you know, such a builder of us, builder of our organization. The gentleman we're putting in, the first home will be done in mid-September, end of September. And his story about what he qualified for and what he was able to be seen and we're putting him in a beautiful new house.
That's awesome.
And it's affordable.
Yeah.
So, and then the other person we want is donors. You know, so if somebody says, I'd really, you know, I think if every business would say, hey, we want to donate a house to help somebody that maybe even is in a segment of their employee, you know, that we just want to build affordable housing, and we're not competing with others. We just want to offer this as an option.
I appreciate that. You know, as you were talking, and kind of a reflection of a conversation I heard on talk radio, FM 104.5 WAKV here. They were talking about it was St. Johns County. It was a school board meeting, and it was like open mic night. So people, mostly they were teachers, administrators from all different schools coming in to talk. In the conversation gravitated towards, you know, I'm a teacher, so got a college education. I can't afford to live in St. Johns County. I have to live in an adjacent county. So now I got to, at the time, most gas was at like $4 a gallon. So it's unaffordable to live in the county I work in. And you just sit there, because I think some people think attainable housing it's a poor person's. No, it's not. It's actually, there's a lot of people that are middle income that they can't afford the ability to have a nice location to live in. So.
Yeah, no, yes, I hear those stories all the time. And one day two couples came in, and between their rent going up $500 at one lease renewal and daycare, because they both had young children, and they both worked full time, and they were working opposite shifts to try to save on daycare. And I'm like, it's not the people we often think that, you know, I always say this, it's not the people that choose to sit home and watch The Price is Right. It's the people that are working with us and for us every single day. They can't find housing. And, you know, we know that they aren't going to be able to come up with a 20% down payment. We know that the payments, rent is out of this world.
It is,
And we know they can't afford that. And in fact, I said to those two couples, I said, well, our houses won't be done. And this was probably, you know, a year ago. Our houses won't be done for a year. I said, so what would you do? And they both said they would live in their car. And they said, no. I said, don't you have somebody you could stay with? And they said, no.
Wow.
And so I'm like, you know, the people that help us, that we see at the grocery store, they could be living in their car. That's not right.
That's not right at all.
And so, so then I put the squeeze on to start saying to builders, can't you do, I'm not asking you to give up this great lucrative building business you have. I'm asking you to do some. And it's working. Not everybody. But
those who are should be recognized for doing good things.
And I always say, because I've done affordable housing for a long time now, when they are there, when the people get their keys and they become our homeowners become homeowners. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Robin, how do people find you, and how do they find Jacksonville Community Land Trust?
Our office is at the Beaver Street Enterprise Center on Beaver Street, 1225, and we're Suite 125. We're also online at jaxclthomes.org.
So what we'll do is take all the contact information. I'll put our show notes, encourage people to take a look at Jax CLT, then also connect with you on LinkedIn and myself. I'd love to hear from folks. And then, you know, let those three groups, you know, those folks that need that housing, who want to do the work, those people that want to donate, and those people that want to build, to get that recognition and take care of our community, because it is a community we live in.
You know, none of us could be where we are without the other.
No, not at all.
And I think people are starting to see that in the world. But we have the opportunity to help.
Absolutely.
And the land trust, thanks to the generous legislation from the city of Jacksonville, we have the land to facilitate. So we'll just be the middleman. We'll let you build, and it'll be a win for Jacksonville.
Man, this is that old adage of rising tides lift all ships. Truly is a true statement.
Absolutely.
And man, imagine what a great world we live in. We always talk about it, so let's actually do something about it. So thanks again for coming. It's good to see you.
Yes, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, connect with Robin and myself on LinkedIn. Take a look at Jacksonville Community Land Trust and what they're doing, and see how you can help out and be part of the solution to what's going on in our city, the great city of Jacksonville. See you in the next segment.